A lot of times people ask me where they can get free sounds to use in their games. A website that I really like, that I've used a lot, is this one called freesound.org. In here, you can create an account for free, and you can search sounds by keywords. You're going to find a huge variety of sounds, different qualities. The main thing to look for here is that the license allows you to use this particular file. So, for example, if the license, which is shown here, is Creative Commons 0 or public domain, which is the same thing, that means that you can use those sounds even in commercial projects. For some other sounds, you might have to give attribution. Some of them might be only for non-commercial projects. So make sure that you consider the corresponding license. Of course, I'm not liable if you don't follow my advice and use somebody else's sound. Okay, so a lot of the times you'll download a .wav file, but we want to have the file in two different formats. We want to have an MP3 and an OGG. Browser compatibility is not yet, at least at the time of this recording, at a point where you can use one format for all the main platforms. If we want to make sure our games run well on Android and iOS, we need to provide those two options, MP3 and OGG. How can we transform a sound? So if we download the .wav, how can we transform that into MP3 or OGG? And how can we also cut little parts that we don't want? Say, you only want a certain part of the sound, not the whole thing. Well, there's a free program that's available for all operating systems, for Windows, for Linux, for Mac, which is called Audacity. So I recommend that you grab this free tool, audacity.sourceforge.net. And I'm just going to quickly show you how you can cut some part of a sound that you don't like, and how you can export it to MP3 and OGG. So you'll go to File, Open. You're going to open the sound, and here you can play the sound. If there's a section that you don't want, you can just select that with the mouse, and then go to Edit, Remove Audio or Labels, Delete, and then you just got rid of one part. You can, of course, just do the usual copy-paste, just with the keyboard, or just copy and paste if you want to have something repeated. Now, before we export the sound, we want to pick a project rate that's not too high. The lower you go, the smaller the file is going to be, but also the more bad the quality will be. So in this case, the file that I opened already has this quality, but I could reduce it to this one maybe, and have a play, see if I like how it sounds. So always pick the smallest one that still sounds good for you. You don't have to have a crappy sound just to save a few kilobytes, but it's not needed to have all the highest rate. When you're done working with your video, you just go to File, Export, and in here you can do an MP3 export, and then you should also do an OGG or Vorbis export. So you need to have those two files for each one of your sounds, so that you can use those in your game and make sure that it's going to work on iOS and on Android.